Hi everyone, welcome to the MrpTech podcast. This is episode 171. My name is Matt, and this podcast this week, I've got a lot of great things to talk about. Before I jump into the main topic this week, what I wanted to do is jump way back to a show I did years ago on Ecosia, the web browser that apparently when you search on that browser, the revenue created by that browser is used to plant trees worldwide and sort of restore certain areas and restore the environment of certain areas that have been destroyed. Well, this Thursday, January 23rd, all Ecosia searches will be used to plant trees in Australia. They're going to use 100% from their profits that day to help regenerate the country's ecosystem after the massive wildfires in affected areas in Australia. So again, that's Ecosia, the web browser, Ecosia. If you've never used it before, it's a neat idea that I guess millions of trees at this point have been planted in certain areas. Now, one of the things that I researched when I first saw this was that why only this Thursday, January 23rd, are they going to do that? And basically their answer was that what they do whenever they go to a new area, they start with a base setup, a base they start very small and they build from there. So this Thursday, the January 23rd, that 100% of profits, all of that money is going to be used to set up that new environment in Australia where they then can grow their ecosystem with planting all of the native trees in that certain area. I think it's Byron Bay, which is where they plan on doing it, the area that's been affected by wildfires. So it's kind of a neat thing, and I understand they can't do that every single day, based off of that only one area, one web search, but it is kind of a neat thing that they're doing. So this Thursday, January 23rd, anybody who uses Ecosia, the money generated from using that browser, it's going to go to help the relief efforts in restoring the environment in Australia. Very cool thing. Now, today's topic is something that was brought to my attention in the Discord room earlier this week. And boy, I really have been a fan of projects that start small and eventually grow up into this giant thing, and all of a sudden you realize they take a pivot, they take a right turn and become something that makes complete sense. So something that started with a passion project, somebody who was really motivated to make a difference. And really, I'm a big fan of that because I'm always working on little projects, and my projects become huge things over time. And to see an open source project have some success and have a new meaning, a new breath of life, and is really exciting for me. And for those of you who know me, I've been talking pretty much nonstop lately about NextCloud. I have, as I mentioned in previous shows, I've been working on creating my own instance of NextCloud for my business. At this point, I could not be happier with the way it is set up, and it's been running for a few weeks now, since right before Christmas, I believe, and has not gone down at all since then. I have taken it offline to do certain things and make some changes here and there with the system, but as far as whether or not NextCloud is ready for prime time, in my opinion, it is absolutely fantastic for me. Now, NextCloud has made a huge announcement this past week, and I wanted to bring it up on this show and tell you what I think about it, because NextCloud, I'm currently using NextCloud 17, and the next release of NextCloud will be NextCloud 18, but it's going to be called NextCloud Hub And during a keynote presentation in Berlin last week, NextCloud CEO Frank Karliczek announced the availability of a new product from NextCloud. It's going to be called NextCloud Hub, and it's the first completely integrated on-premises content collaboration platform for the market. And it's basically ready for use right now and has tons of collaboration capabilities right out of the box. Now, those of you who have used NextCloud before or OwnCloud, you're aware of the features that it has to offer. But basically, NextCloud 18 is bringing lots of improvements to millions of the NextCloud users. For instance, in your file manager, well, I guess I could take a step back. If you haven't listened to the previous shows, NextCloud is basically, it was originally a Dropbox competitor or a Google Drive competitor, except you're hosting your own files locally. With that, you're able to sync files between devices. You are able to share files with different users. And basically, with NextCloud Hub 18, you're going to have all sorts of features improved, like an improved sidebar. Internal sharing has been improved. Folder ownership and transfership is now improving. Something called Flow, which is aimed to ease the workflow capabilities in NextCloud. You can automatically turn documents into PDFs, send messages into chat rooms, and a lot more. And this Flow is to help you sort of make NextCloud an alternative to Office 365 or things like Google Docs or Google Drive, where you have all this integration in one sort of environment. So with things like Office 365, it's based off a web browser. Obviously, you log in, you have all of your files in OneCloud. Same thing goes for Google Drive with Google Docs, Sheets, Slides. Everything is sort of incorporated into one environment with your cloud storage. And it only makes sense for NextCloud to do this. And when this was brought up in the Discord chat room earlier this week, that was the first thing that came to mind. This makes perfect sense for NextCloud to do, to change their sort of marketing tactic from just an open source cloud storage solution to a whole Office suite integration that really has been there since sort of day one. So not only do you share your files and store files and photos, and you have calendar applications, you have NextCloud Talk, which is an online chat interface, which you're going to get to in a little bit. But there's also now going to be integration of OnlyOffice, which makes collaborative editing like Microsoft Office documents accessible to every one of your users, which is very cool. So I'm going to play a little video now of introducing NextCloud Hub, and if you're in Discord, you won't be able to hear this, but I'm going to play this for everybody listening right now.
NextCloud Hub. NextCloud Hub is the full content collaboration suite to manage all your documents and communications. An all-in-one worry-free package, so to speak. With NextCloud Files, you can manage all your files and documents. You can download and upload, view and edit them. You can find everything with full text search and by tagging. And of course, you can share documents and collaborate with others. For example, with Carl, Paulette, Mickey, and many more at the same time. In NextCloud Photos, you can find and view all your photos and videos, just like this one. Oh, that was nice. In NextCloud Talk, you can chat with others, work on documents, and even do audio and video calls, like in a real office. And best of all, you can even participate from your mobile phone. In the NextCloud Calendar, you can manage, share, and sync all your appointments with your phone and desktops. Oh, I see right now I need to make a quick phone call, but where's the number? Of course, in Contacts. In NextCloud Contacts, you can view, manage, and share all your contacts. And of course, you can also form groups based on topics, just like my line dance group here. Yeehaw! In NextCloud Mail, you can of course read, write, and manage your emails. But there are also intelligent features like detection of itineraries. NextCloud Hub even includes a full-featured Office suite that lets you edit all your Office documents together with others. Do you remember? Carl, Paulette, Mickey, here they are again. NextCloud Hub is the powerful content collaboration platform with all the features you need. And by the way, the entire NextCloud Hub is open source and can run on premises, so you have control over your own data. Your cloud, your data. NextCloud.
Okay, so that was the introduction to NextCloud Hub. And the idea that I'm most excited about is the online collaboration. Just having everything in one place that is sort of stored at home or in my office is fantastic to me. And now with things like the Raspberry Pi 4, inexpensive options to install NextCloud using NextCloud Pi, it's super easy to get something like this up and running. And for me, bringing everything that I had out on those other services internally and using them on my devices, not somewhere else, is really important for me. So I think that, this is a great move for NextCloud. And having, worked in a school, I can see benefits of using something like NextCloud in a school or in a business, small business, all the way up to big business. Now, my NextCloud install right now has about 25 users on it, and they will log in sporadically. So there's not a whole lot of users using it at the same time, that type of thing. And honestly, I'm not sure a Raspberry Pi could handle that very well. But with all of that, if it was installed on something else, maybe a server somewhere, it's got a little bit more power, I can see this thing really basically flying and being something that would surprise even sysadmins out there running in the school district or a business or whatever. I would seriously talk up NextCloud Hub to just about everybody at this point in time. The not only sharing and collaborating documents, being able to send and receive email now, managing your calendar. You could have text or video chats that are encrypted, so you don't have to worry about data leaking, that type of thing. It's on premises, so I'm not relying on things like Dropbox or Google Cloud, that type of thing. So that's the big thing for me, and I'm really digging having my data on my machines. And the best part about it, it's 100% open source. Once it's set up, it's like the easiest thing in the world to use. Now, my original plan was to set this up so that I could connect this onto my business website. I didn't quite do it that way. I didn't really want to pay for a static IP address to be able to do that at this point in time. But what I ended up doing, I used something noip.org. You can create a link from your router to NoIP, and it works basically just the same. So you log in on the web browser and you are good to go. So very secure. Everything can be encrypted if you would like to do that. NextCloud Flow, that I talked about earlier, basically helps users to automate repetitive tasks. And if you have business practices that you do frequently, it's very easy to automate those repetitive, boring tasks and make your team more efficient. Gives you advanced access control to enable things like blocking unauthorized access to ensure your files are safe, automating tasks, as I mentioned, and basically giving access to anything on your own terms. So you basically have full control over all of your data. It's pretty awesome. So another thing NextCloud Hub is going to be improving upon is you can manage users locally, or you can add things like LDAP or Active Directory, which is useful for business in schools. So that's great as well. You can access external storage things through FTP or Windows Network drives, SharePoint, Samba, anything like that through NextCloud is easier and easier to do with NextCloud Hub. You also have the ability to, as I mentioned, collaborate with others, but you can also take this on the go. So you have these mobile apps where you can still use things like NextCloud Talk, still have the video capabilities, the chat capabilities, even on the go. So no matter what device you have, Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android, and the like, you are able to sort of connect home and really interact with your whole team, your whole office or committee that you're working on. So I have just been blown away over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it's been, about how far NextCloud has come. I started off with OwnCloud very briefly and immediately switched to NextCloud years ago and tested NextCloud for a few years, hardly used it much. I used it on and off, and there was a couple of key moments where NextCloud really saved my can, so to speak, and that really kind of got me thinking more and more about it. And when I was able to pick up the Raspberry Pi 4, that's when I thought, this is really going to be the good time to launch it for my business, and had no idea that this NextCloud Hub was coming out. I mean, really, it has been NextCloud Hub all along. You've been able to do this all along. And what I love about NextCloud is all the apps that you have available to add on that you can give access to users. Anything from importing calendars to your contacts to the photo gallery. The photo gallery for me used to be dreadfully slow, and I don't find that as much with the Raspberry Pi 4 compared to the Pi 3, which is what I was using before, and the Pi 2 previous to that. The thing here is early on when I used it, anytime that I updated, it would often crash. That has been pretty stable for the most part over the last 4 or 5 releases. I believe I started on NextCloud 11, and we're on 17 now, and you're always going to get that upgrade when you're ready for it and it has stable. You can be on either the fast branch or the testing branch, or you can be on the stable branch, and I choose to be on the stable branch, so it takes a little while longer. I'm not exactly sure if NextCloud 18 has been released at this point or if it's coming very soon, but that NextCloud Hub is in NextCloud 18. So the idea here, adding all the different apps, some of the ones that I just use are like the very simple ones. Like there's a tasks app, and where you can kind of make a checklist of all the tasks that you need to do, or a notes app where you can have all of your notes synced across all of your devices, but it's internal and nobody else has access to it unless you want to share it. Just really simple things that are really making this something that I want to kind of return to, and because it's finally having a use that all these things are coming together, and it's easier to just have it all in one place rather than signing into Gmail for my calendar or contacts, or using my notes app on my phone, or having a to-do list app on my phone, or that type of thing. Just having everything in one spot is really kind of appealing to me at this point, rather than having multiple services across multiple accounts and multiple passwords. You have everything built in all in one. It's a beautiful interface, and it's very customizable as well. So if you want to theme it with your business or school colors, you can do that as well. So I'm really extremely happy to hear of this turn for NextCloud Hub. And I really think it has just announced itself as a major player in the competition between Google Docs and Office 365. So by using the Collabora Online Office Suite or the Only Office or things like that, it only makes sense to incorporate all of those things into NextCloud. And boy, just having that is like really, I mean, I'm considering at this point ditching everything else that I'm using and just going full on onto NextCloud. Now, the issues with doing that obviously is when you're hosting everything yourself, you have to make sure your backups are running consistently. You have to make sure that not only is NextCloud backed up, but your data is backed up as well. So you're sort of responsible for everything. And some people don't like that part of it. Really, if you have a game plan and you really stick to it, it's not that much more work to back up your own data. You could set yourself reminders or that type of thing to be consistent in all of that, but it's not all that difficult to do. So anybody out there who maybe is privacy focused, or you don't want your data out there, you can very easily set this up for yourself. And if you're looking for some help, you could reach out to me, mrptechreviews@gmail.com. I'll share my experiences with you on how to do it. Now, I'm by far not an expert in NextCloud, but I can definitely get you through some hurdles that I've gone through, and it's something that keeps surprising me every single day. And the more that I use it, the more that I'm becoming more convinced that it's the real deal now, and the issues that were there years ago are no longer there for the most part. And I'm excited to see where this goes, not only with NextCloud 18, but beyond that. There's also something I just learned about that's called NextCloud Enterprise, which is like the next model up, where you can actually pay for premium support, 24/7 support, 24/7 phone support. So that I was not aware. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm just seeing that now. So I was unaware there was an enterprise level of NextCloud. So that's really cool. At this point, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I just want to remind you about the Ecosia project, as I mentioned earlier, this Thursday, January 23rd. Make sure to, if you're using a web browser, use Ecosia, because all the profit made that day is going to use to help restore the ecosystem in Australia. You can check out the other great shows on Podnuts over at podnuts.com. You can check out my website, mrptechreviews.com, and when I get to it, I plan on updating that website very soon. So thanks everybody for listening. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next time.